Hello again, welcome back, and thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to watch a little Hello Good Game. What's up, everybody? How you doing? Strixhaven's not here. Pre-release event canceled. It was pretty short notice, so I'm on second thoughts. I really think something happened that they weren't expecting. A sickness. Someone maybe quit their job. Something like this had to have happened that was unexpected because there's no way they only gave us 30 hours notice without there being something that just popped up, right? There's no way they do that to us. It hurts, but don't worry. I've gone way out of my way. We've got an all new free to play budget farming deck. How can you complete Strixhaven for free? And how much would it cost you to buy it outright? In my last video, check that out. I mention it because I preluded to this video. Within it, we're going to take a look at 5 new free-to-play decks focused around Strixhaven. 0 rares, 0 mythics. This is exactly what you've been looking for if you're a beginner or a free-to-play individual who still wants to experience the flavors that the game has to offer. So buckle in, get ready, like the video, and let's go. Alrighty then. First up, we have the one and only Silverquill. I'm not going to go through each card individually. I will have the list, and of course, as Strixhaven gets released, I'll roll out the gameplay videos with the deck tech. However, let's highlight some of the strategies and synergies here. Silverquill focuses around Killion, the Ink Duelist. Spells that target a creature cost 2 less to cast. That's insane. We're comboing this with Magecraft in the deck. So our spells are going to be cheaper because all of our spells target creatures, and those spells will trigger our Magecraft abilities within the deck, which is absolutely amazing. We've got Double Strike through Kaya's Onslaught, typically 3 mana. We're casting it for 1 if Killion's in play. Target creature gets +1/+1, gains Double Strike until the end of turn. Wow. Even if we don't have Killion, we can just foretell it, right? One of my favorites that I'm not sure anyone's thought of, Call of the Death Dweller. Return up to 2 target creature cards. Oh my gosh. Call of the Death Dweller for 1 mana. That's got to get you guys excited. Of course, we've got things like Spontaneous Flight, reducing the cost of that. The Elocution, I can't even say that. Again, casting this for 2 is going to be hot fire. Of course, we've got Show of Confidence as well. All of these being reduced through Killion, the Ink Duelist, and only $23 if you're looking to buy this deck in paper. And again, I'm so excited to start playing it for you guys, showcasing some of the unique strategies and synergies within it, within the new meta. So let's move on before we get too far into it to our Lorehold deck. Now this one is very cheap as well, $18. That's incredible. It focuses around the spirit creature type and going really wide with those spirits. We have some cool things within the deck again, focusing around Magecraft. The clever Lumimancer, LOL, that's an M, not an N. Nobody's going to say this right. With Magecraft, whenever you cast an instant or sorcery or copy, this bad boy is going to get +2/+2 until the end of turn. That's a 2/3 for 1 mana. I'll take it. And of course, we can double cast. And that's what the whole deck revolves around when we jump over here to the Clarion Spirit. 2/2, whenever you double cast, create a 1/1. Make your mark, create a token when your creature dies, and your creature gets +1/+0 until the end of turn, which is cool. The Stonebinder's Familiar is just great value because it's a spirit. We want lots of spirits. Same with the Usher. Blood Age General. Attacking spirits get +1/+0 until the end of turn. That's incredible. Tagged to the Clarion Spirit. And even more so, the Lorehold Apprentice. Magecraft. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, until the end of turn, spirit creatures you control gain. This creature deals 1 damage to each opponent when you tap it. So you can make a bunch of spirits and then start tapping them on your turn and on your opponent's turn, which is pretty cool. Again, make your mark instant speed. We can do this on our opponent's turn, get the kill, make the spirit, and then tap all of our spirits to deal a bunch of damage to our opponents. Both, again, on their turn with instant speed and our turn with sorcery speed, which is pretty cool. Lots of spirits within the deck, rip apart, good utility here. And Quintros, Field Historian, for 5 mana, a little expensive, but spirits you control get +1/+0, and whenever a card leaves your graveyard for the first time each turn, create a 3/2 spirit, which is decent. So I'm really looking forward to this deck. Just playing a bunch of cards on top of Clarion Spirit, making all of those spirits, and then start tapping them to deal damage to our opponent. Yes, we can attack with them as well because we have the Field Historian here, we have the Blood Age General, but potentially we get to a point where we can no longer attack. Let's just start tapping them, which is really quite interesting. We can even use them as chump blockers, right? We can go in with the defense and then we can tap it, deal the damage, have it die, and stop any damage that would have been coming into us. So that's the second deck. Again, super, super cheap, easy to access. Next up is the Prismari for $32. This one's too expensive. I actually had the hardest time building this deck, and I resorted to some old tricks that you'll see. The Rune Crab. I'm sorry. I had to do it. There's only so many good free-to-play blue cards, and, well, this is the best one. Landfall. So we're going to be milling our opponent in the deck. And, of course, we've got Teferi's Tutelage to get us there and into the story to get the job done. What I liked about the deck, though, is Practical Research for 5 mana. Instant speed, draw 4 cards, then discard 2 cards unless you discard an instant or sorcery. So, that's a really nice draw engine for us as well. We've got the Pop Quiz, we've got the Inspiration here that are new cards that both allow us to learn. The same goes for Divide by 0, allowing us to learn. And then we've got the full 7 sideboard here, which is great. A lot of instances and sorceries in the deck that can be played on top of the Sprite Dragon, creating a fairly formidable foe. We also have Teach by Example, a single copy of this to double down on anything. Practical Research, Into the Story are perfect, options for that. And we also have Rutha, Mercurial Artist, which can copy our instances and sorceries as well for 2 mana while bouncing itself back to our hand. So we could chump block with this, pay 2 mana, bounce it to our hand, the damage doesn't go through, and we get to copy an instant and sorcery, such as Pop Quiz, the Inspiration, or, like I said, Into the Story and stuff as well. Test of Talents to shut down decks. I don't like an Expressive Iteration, just as general value, because there's a lot of it here. So this is a mill deck. You do have the aggro option in there as well, but you never really want to rely on it in case your opponent has a decent amount of control. Again, this is one board that has a lot of access to the sideboard through the Learn and Lesson cards, which is really, really nice in a deck that revolves around casting lots of spells, because we will always have access to quite a few. So with that out of the way, we have up next our Quandrix free-to-play. This is another banger at under $18. I can't even. Decisive Denial, absolutely amazing. Quandrix Apprentice, amazing. I guess I should mention that the deck revolves around putting 8 lands in play and then kind of taking advantage of that. We have things like Eureka Moment to help us ramp. We also have Quandrix Cultivator to help us ramp. The Pledge Mage is quite nice because it can become a formidable creature. It enters as a 2/2, but it can become a 3/3, 4/4, 5/5, 6/6, and then we're cooking. We've got the Colony here as well. It's a 2/2 for 2, but it's a 4/4 for 2 with reach if we have 8 or more lands in play. That's just great value, especially when we're going to have our creatures fight one another with our Denial. We've also have the Prodigy to help us put extra lands in play, and Cultivate to pull those extra lands, which is amazing. The Kelpie Guide can shut down our opponent's shenanigans for us, which is just really great, right? So we can get some pretty nice attackers in with the Pledge Made, with the Cultivator. Even the Colony can do quite a good job, and then we'll shut down our opponent's blockers with the guide, and we have protection through denial, through Snakeskin's Veil, which is really nice. Magecraft to help us pull lands within the Apprentice, much like the Cultivate to double play with the Prodigy, again to help ramp us up into that shenanigans level style of play. So this deck is one of my favorites. I think it's one of the most straightforward as well. Moving forward, Witherbloom, $23, staying within that sub $30 limit. This one looks powerful. I don't know about this one, you guys. This might be the best one. You all know what Serrated Scorpion, well, I should say what the deck does first. We have an Aristocrat style deck in which we will be using the death of our creatures to kill our opponent. We also have massive token generation to help us accomplish that. The main engine here is Bastion of Remembrance. When it enters the battlefield, create a token, and whenever a creature you control dies, you lose 1 life and you gain 1 life, and your opponent loses 1 life, which is amazing. Such good stuff here. So the Scorpion, 2 damage, 2 life. The Groff, we have to sacrifice or pay an additional 3. It's a 5/4. That's good value. Easily sacrifice a Scorpion, right? Get that damage, plus you get a big creature. Awesome. Deadly Brew. Each player sacrifices a creature or planeswalker. If you sacrificed a permanent this way, you may return a permanent card from your graveyard to your hand. Replayability. Love it. We have the Soul Stepper. This is really good. Whenever you gain life each turn, whenever you gain life, not even each turn, each opponent loses 1 life. The Bastion of Remembrance on each death will allow us to gain life, which will trigger an additional loss of life on our opponent. So every time something dies, we gain 1 life, our opponent loses 2 life, and that's actually going to get even worse because the pest tokens that we have in the deck, I guess we can see Plumb the Forbidden here for 2 mana. At instant speed, as an additional cost to cast the spell, you may sacrifice 1 or more creatures. When you do copy this spell for each creature sacrificed this way, you draw a card and lose 1 life. That's actually not what I was looking for. Tend the Pest, this is it. As an additional cost to cast the spell, sack a creature, create X 1/1 black and green pest creature tokens with whenever you sacrifice, whenever this creature dies, you will gain 1 life, where X is the sacrificed creature's power. This is very, very good. So you can gain life, which is great, for each token that you make, and those tokens will be equal to the number of power of the sacrificed creature. So think of it this way. We've got a Scorpion. That's great. We play the Baal Groff. It sacrifices the Scorpion. We deal some damage. The Groff is in play. Next turn, Bastion of Remembrance. Great. Turn after that, we kill the Groff. We make 5 1/1s, right? That is a total of 6 in play because we have the 1/1 from the Remembrance. We play a Stepper. That is now so much damage. I can't even because the pests, when they die, we gain 1 life. Whenever we gain life, our opponent loses life through the Stepper, and then we also gain life, re-triggering the Stepper, and they lose life through the Bastion of Remembrance. So, we get 2 through the Bastion, we get 2 through the Stepper, and the Pest there. So there's a lot of damage to be dealt to our opponent through the death of our own creatures. So Scorpion, Groff, Bastion, sacrifice it, bunch of pests, and then, you use something like Plumb the Forbidden, in which you can sacrifice any number of creatures, draw a bunch of cards, lose some life, and kill your opponent outright. There's more cards in the deck, if you can believe it. We've got the Witherbloom Apprentice. Whenever he gets an instant or sorcery, they lose life, you gain life. Re-triggers all of that again. We've got the instances and sorceries. We've got Deadly Brew. We've got Plumb the Forbidden, Tend the Pests, and even Mortality Spear. So there's a lot of things to trigger the Witherbloom Apprentice. Of course, we've got the Blood Research here. It's just a filler. Whenever you gain life, put a +1/+1 counter on it. Sure. Mortality Spear, this is worth mentioning. Whenever you gain life, it costs 2 less, so you can cast this for 2 to destroy target non-land permanent. Sign me up. And the Woe Eater, which makes another amazing target for us to sacrifice with Tend the Pests. At the beginning of your upkeep, sacrifice creature. Whenever you sacrifice the Woe Eater, each opponent discards a card, you draw a card, and you gain 2 life. It's insane. I cannot even fathom the level of synergy within this deck. You're going to be killing your opponents all over the place for less than $23, and if you're in Arena, 0 rares, 0 mythics. This is going to get the job done. This is what I'm most excited about. I don't even know how I could possibly improve this deck. It's absolutely perfect if you ask me. But I do appreciate all of your guys' support, your consideration, and your suggestions. So leave that down below in the comments. Thank you so much for watching Hello Good Game. I appreciate it. I hope today you've seen something that gets you a little bit excited about STRIXHAVEN as a free-to-play individual. You can also take these decks into our Artisan tournaments every month on Melee. Sign up for those. Cash prize, free entry. What? Have an amazing day, you guys. We'll see you soon in the next video. Take care, and until then.